Chapter 31, The Best Actress That Run Errands. 1/2. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Qin Yi could be seen walking up, holding onto Yi Hua's arm and said lovingly, "Darling, let's quickly leave." Upon seeing that, Qin Yutong immediately understood her big sister's intention. Big sister is thinking of destroying the bar's business and make brother.in.law go bankrupt. This is interesting. Qin Yutong also walked up, held onto Yi Hua's other arm and said in a low voice, "Brother.in.law, let's quickly leave, the movie is about to start already." In just those few moments, 10+ women could be seen standing up and leaving the bar, and in the end, there were only 3 customers remaining. Looking at the expression of those customers, it seems that they only came here with the intention to get drunk. Wei Chang sighed, "If this continues on, we are really going to go bankrupt." The workers and security guards of the bar were also helpless. Ever since the boss openly brought the woman back home, the business had not been going well. Right now, he even brought 2 women back home, and they are even twin sisters. How could the customers not feel angry? After all, the women who came here to drink all mainly came for the purpose of looking at the boss. Tang Wei looked at the boss and the twin sisters. Her heart was already a lot calmer right now, seemingly not being infatuated with the boss anymore. Turning her head around and taking a look at Wei Chang, she thought to herself, "Uncle Wei is much more amiable compared to the boss. Not only is he considerate and knows how to care for others, he is also the type of uncle that is handsome." Satisfied, Yi Hua said in a deep voice. Qin Yi and Qin Yutong immediately let go of Yi Hua's arm, seemingly as if nothing had happened, and walked out of the bar in large strides. In the past, just one Qin Yi was already annoying enough, and right now, there is a sister.in.law too, and from the looks of it, this sister.in.law is not any good thing too. If I had known earlier, I wouldn't have allowed her to come to stay with us. Qin Yi was right this time, adding one more bed is not as simple as adding a pair of chopsticks. Coming out of the bar, Yi Hua took a look around. In the past, at this timing, it would be packed with people, but right now, the situation is actually miserable to this point. Qin Yi secretly took a look at Yi Hua and felt incredibly great from her feet to her head. "Anger you this scoundrel to death? Do you really think that I am that easy to provoke, to actually make me peel crayfishes? I will make you go bankrupt. Drive the car." Qin Yi said towards her little sister, and Qin Yutong spread out her hands. The sisters sat at the front and Yi Hua sat the back alone like a big boss. "It is too difficult to educate this Qin Yi, my head really hurts just from thinking about it. I didn't expect that there would come a day where I would be worried for a woman." Chapter 31, The Best Actress That Run Errands. 2/2. After 10+ minutes, they arrived at All Things Shopping Center. Services like drinking, eating and entertainment were all available at this shopping center. All Things Cinema was a high-grade cinema. One ticket alone cost close to 100 RMB, towards ordinary consumers, this was a really high price. However, because Avengers 3 was screening, for the purpose of seeking after high-grade enjoyment, a lot of people came here to watch Avengers 3. If not for Qin Yutong having booked the tickets online in advance, it was reckoned that there wouldn't be any tickets available for the 3 of them today. When Yi Hua brought along Qin Yi and Qin Yutong and appeared at the shopping center, everyone stopped in their footsteps and their face revealed out an astonished expression, because those 2 twin sisters looked too identical, seemingly just like they are the same person, and the important point was that, they were very beautiful too. A model with a 1.75 m height was bound to have a pair of super long beautiful legs, although their clothes were ordinary, but their entirety temperament was extremely great. It must be said that, those 2 sisters were too bright for the eyes. The other person that was much brighter for the eyes was that man. His temperament was a bit aloof, although there were 2 women that were as beautiful as fairies at his sides, but there was not a trace of complacent that could be seen from his eyes, seemingly like everything was normal and how it should be, as if those 2 women should instead be honored that they were able to walk by his sides. An attractiveness index combination like this, it was really formidable. The men would look at the 2 beautiful women, and the women would look at the handsome man, not interfering with each other at all. The 3 of them straightforwardly came to All Things Cinema. and there was actually quite a huge amount of people that were waiting to enter the cinema. Qinya said towards her little sister, "Get the tickets and buy snacks." Qin Yutong pursed her lips, "Big sister, when did you become this lazy?" "I learned from your brother. In law. When you were not here, all those work were all done by me, and since you are here now, those work will be done by you. Of course, you can also choose to go and stay at a hotel too." Qinya spread out her hands and said helplessly. Yi Hua did not speak. This Qinya is thinking of driving away this Qin Yutong. However, it is also good to drive this Qin Yutong away. This Qin Yutong is not someone easy to deal with too, and adding on with the fact that she is Qinya's little sister, there is no way that I would actually seriously deal with her. Wait, wrong. Why would I care about the relationship of humans? BL.net. After listening, Qin Yutong opened her sexy small mouth and pointed to the two of them, "Big sister, brother. In law, you two. How can you two bully a young lady like this? There is a lot of people queuing up, go quickly and come back quickly, I want Sprite and popcorn." Yi Hua said indifferently. "I want Coke and popcorn." Qinya imitated Yi Hua's tone and said. Qin Yutong had an expression of feeling unbelievable. After restraining herself for a bit, she said, "You two sure are big bosses." Yi Hua and Qinya did not pay attention to Qin Yutong and found a seat to sit down and wait. Without choice, the helpless Qin Yutong came to the front of Yi Hua and stretched out her hand towards him. "What are you doing?" Yi Hua asked. "Buying things cost money, give me money." Qin Yutong said angrily. "I don't have any, find your big sister." "Don't look at me, I didn't bring any money, find your brother. In law." Qinya immediately dispelled her little sister's thought of asking her for money. She is not flying into a rage after all this. When did my little sister's temper become this good? Yi Hua's brows wrinkled. "As a woman, do you not bring any money with you when you leave the house? As a man, do you not bring any money with you when you leave the house?" Qinya replied coldly. Seeing that the two people were about to start quarreling again, Qin Yutong surrendered. "You two don't quarrel, I will go and buy. Okay." Yi Hua and Qinya snorted, both of them not bothering with one another at all. Qin Yutong, who was queuing up to buy things, felt very gloomy. "I am a famous best actress, during the afternoon, I was even chased after by a group of fans, and right now, I actually became a person that run errands. This contrast is indeed a bit big, but at the same time, it is very interesting. Brother. In law is a man who doesn't walk the normal path, and big sister's change is extraordinarily big, as if she had become a different person. Could the saying of being foolish for 3 years when you get pregnant be true?" After waiting for 10+ minutes, Qin Yutong finally accomplished her task without any mishap. "My two boss, here are the things you two wanted." Yi Hua took a look at Qinya, and the latter immediately understood what he was trying to say. "Even a straw, you also want me to help you insert it? Do you have to be this lazy? Do you even want to continue living on cheerfully?" Qin Yutong didn't understand. "I had already bought the things that you two wanted, why are you two still having this kind of expression? Are you two enemies in your past life?" Looking at Yi Hua's threatening expression, Qinya felt very irritated. "However, since there are a lot of people here, I will give him a bit of face. When we go back, I will properly give him a lesson." After Qinya's stretched out her hand and inserted the straw into the Sprite, Yi Hua's face finally became better. Upon seeing that, Qin Yutong, who was at the side, almost spat out her drink. There is even this kind of operation. Do brother. In law have something on big sister? If not, why is big sister that obedient? People with the ticket of the screening of Avengers 3 at 8:10 p.m. can enter the cinema now. People with the ticket of the screening of Avengers 3 at 8:10 p.m. can enter the cinema now. People with the ticket of the screening of Avengers 3 at 8:10 p.m. can enter the cinema now. The broadcast rang out 3 times, they were finally able to enter into the cinema. Qin Yutong was exhilarated, whereas Yi Hua and Qinya on the other hand were very calm and collected, seemingly not very interested in the movie. especially Yi Hua. Don't need to say, Yi Hua sat in the middle like a big boss, and Qinya and Qin Yutong sat at his sides. The entire movie was about 2 hours. Yi Hua expresses that he was only interested in Thanos. Chapter 32, The Trio 1 of 2. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Especially towards Thanos's glove, were those gems combination really able to achieve that kind of effect? To actually be able to destroy half of the population of the entire universe, to speak the truth, without using any items, Yi Hua was also not able to do that. The most he was able to do was eliminate Earth's entire population with the snap of his finger. Stroking onto the ring that was on his finger, there are quite a few pair of gloves within the ring, and also a few boxes of various kinds of gems. Not sure if I followed the arrangement in the movie, would I be able to achieve the same effect? Yi Hua expresses that he was very curious, and if he feels bored, he could try making the glove and see how it goes. My God, Thanos is actually winning, he is too formidable. Qin Yutong, who was at the side, cried out in surprise and hurriedly drank a mouth of beverage to calm herself down. Yi Hua said indifferently, so. If you don't act cool, we are still husband and wife. Qinya discovered that the thing that she likes to do the most right now was to verbally attack Yi Hua. Yi Hua seemingly was a bit immune to Qinya right now, and wouldn't get angry that quickly. Hearing that, Yi Hua said indifferently, ignorant. The way you act cool does seem a bit genuine. If one didn't know, they would even think that you were a demon king. Qinya pouted her mouth and said with a face full of disdain. Yi Hua turned his head around, looked towards Qinya and said evilly, you actually guessed right. Move your face away, your face is too big, it's blocking the entire screen. Qinya pushed onto Yi Hu and the latter smiled and continued watching the movie. After finish watching the movie, Yi Hua suddenly really wanted to meet with this Thanos. At the least, there was no problem with Thanos's IQ. It is a pity for my subordinates, all of them are extremely abnormal. Wei Chang and Lai Gu were counted as being still fine, but the other 5 were already at the stage of being twisted. However, there was no need to question about their strength. I'm really curious as to just what they are doing right now. However, what can be confirmed is that, they are definitely not doing anything that is good right now. The movie was so good, I'm so excited for Avengers 4. Qin Yutong seemed to be Marvel fan, the anticipating expression was really unbearable for one to look straight at. Both Yi Hua and Qinya did not express their opinion of the movie and each of them walked their own path. If one looked at them, they would think that those two did not know each other. This made Yi Hua felt very unhappy as he questioned, what are you walking that far away from me for? I like it, don't need you to care. Qinya was doing it on purpose. She gradually discovered that Yi Hua's controlling desire was pretty strong, and as long as she tackles at this aspect, she would definitely be able to see Yi Hua's looks when he was being angry. So handsome, come over. Yi Hua shouted in a deep voice. Qinya scared, if I come over just because you asked me to, I will be losing a lot of face. A few black lines immediately appeared on Yi Hua's forehead, just who is making who lose face. If you add another word in front, I will perhaps consider it for a bit. A smart woman would always leave a bit of room for the man, won't overdo it, and would definitely not add oil to fire. After all, their relationship right now was established on the child that was still not born yet. No one would like to have their child to not have either a father or a mother when they come into this world. As for the divorce, the both of them well aware of it, but if you don't, and I don't say, when the time comes, we could choose not to divorce then, but at the end, who would know how things would end up in the end? Listening to Qinya's words, Yi Hua was angered to the point that he laughed. This woman is really daring. Wife, come over. Although he added one more word in front, but his tone was still as arrogant as ever. Qinya also didn't place it in her heart, he is my husband after all, I can slowly educate him. Just that, who knows just who would be educating who in the end. Slowly approaching Yi Hua, Qinya suddenly felt that her waist was tightened. This fellow is actually holding on to me and eating my tofu. Let go. Qinya shouted with her face red. Yihua tightly held on to Qinya's waist. I have to prevent this foolish woman from doing some other thing that I dislike. Qin Yutong followed behind them and carefully pondered, these two people. If I'm not guessing wrongly, there must be a problem with both of their brain. I am the only that is counted as a normal person. Chapter 32, The Trio 2 of 2, Brother. In law, let's go to the arcade and play. Qin Yutong shouted. Yihua took a glance at her, childish. 5 minutes later, the three of them arrived at the shopping center's arcade, and Yihua took out his WeChat to pay the bill and received Qin Yutong's thumbs up. The money that he is using is mine. Qinya said out of nowhere. Yihua was very unhappy. Will you die if you don't speak? Will you die if you don't hold on to my waist? Qinya immediately attacked back, while Qin Yutong, who was at the side, shook her head. Two low IQ beings. Coming to the front of the dancing machine, Qin Yutong walked up to it. Her graceful and enchanting figure immediately attracted the cheers of a group of wolves. Let go of me. Qinya said coldly. What do you intend to do? Nonsense, I am of course going to go play. Qinya revealed out a look as if she was looking at an idiot, coming to an arcade and not playing. I still remember that I played the dancing machine together with my little sister when I was young, just that, because of a matter, we quarreled. Yihua said faintly, not aloud. I'm afraid that you would dance to the point that my baby is met with an accident. Yihua said in a deep voice, why is this woman this foolish? Qinya herself was startled. Luckily Yihua reminded me, if I were to dance and caused my baby to meet with an accident, I would even have the heart to die. I almost forgot that I am currently a pregnant woman. Seeing that Qinya did not resist, Yihua let go of his hand and took out a cigarette from his pocket. Can you not smoke in front of me? It is not good for the children. If you want to smoke, go outside. Qinya said displeasedly, don't you know that it is not good for a pregnant woman to breathe in second-hand smoke? Yihua paused for a moment, then placed the cigarette back into his pocket and said calmly, all right. The two of them stood together and watched Qin Yutong danced crazily on the dancing machine. As expected of an actress, her dance posture and movement were incredible and incomparably sexy. Those coquettish glances of hers were thrown around randomly, attracting the group of wolves to shout out endlessly. Qinya's face was cold. Little sister's action right now is practically slandering me. What if some reporters saw this and anyhow reported it? Qin Yutong, who was sweating profusely, seems to still not have danced enough, and Qinya couldn't help but shouted, enough, it's about time to go back. Qin Yutong pouted her small mouth, seems like big sister is angry already, and I was finally able to let go of myself after such a long time. Forget about it, I will dress up as big sister again next time and come here to play. Hey, beautiful woman, why are you not dancing anymore? How about dancing one more song? A few youngsters who each had a cigarette held with their mouth walked out from the crowd. They had their head hang high and chest puffed out and walked in large strides. This kind of expression and demeanor, they were practically begging to be beaten up. There were even people talking about within the crowd. I had a friend like this. In the past, he also walked and acted like this. Right now, the grass at his burial mound is already 2 meters high. What a coincidence, I had a friend like this too. He was in jail for such a long time that he was still in jail even after his wife remarried. Yihua missed this kind of feeling very much. I remember that in the past, there was a genius grade expert from the human race who also acted and walked up to me like this, intending to eliminate me. However, there seemed to be a problem with his brain, and in the end, he ended up in Wei Chang's stomach. Thinking back to that scene right now, it was actually really funny. The scene from the past is more or less the same as the scene that is happening right now. What are you smiling about? Qinya asked curiously. Although Yihua always kept on making me angry, but when he smiles, he truly looks very good and very charming. Not sure just who my child will resemble after when he or she comes into this world. I guess I will know after 9 months. Yihua kept his smile and said indifferently, thinking about something from the past. Qinya snorted, acting so mysterious, trying to keep me in suspense. I feel that Yi Hua has a stomach full of secrets, but he is just not telling me about those secrets. Chapter 33, Fiery Sister. In Law 1/2. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. What thing, tell me? Qinya couldn't help but asked curiously. If you change your bad habits, I will tell you about it. Just who is the one that has a lot of bad habits? You better be clear about it. Qinya felt that her 8 characters definitely did not match with Yi Hua's 8 characters, both of them definitely have to start quarrel when they talk to each other. Qin Yutong was also drunk. Some hooligans came up to take liberties of me, and the both of you are actually engrossed in quarreling with each other and not caring about it. Is that the way to act as a big sister? Is that the way to act as a brother? In law. There are people bullying me. Qin Yutong couldn't help but said, if not they would definitely neglect about me. Yi Hua took a glance at Qin Yutong. If you are bullied, fight back then. For a problem like this, do you even need me to teach you how to deal with it? That's right, didn't you learn martial arts before? A few hooligans shouldn't be a problem for you, right? Qinya said indifferently. When we were small, my little sister was basically a little overlord. Don't be bewitched by her gender. If she was to start fighting, she would be even much more ruthless than a man. You too. Qin Yutong was angered to the point that she did not know just what to say anymore. Those two are definitely a matching pair. The coordination of those two when they verbally attack someone is definitely able to anger a person to death. Turning her head and looking at the 3 hooligans, Qin Yutong was angry. Forget about it that the both of them are bullying me, but you 3 actually dare to come to try bully me too. A bunch of small fries. Do you all really take me as a weak woman? Qin Yutong's aura could be seen changing suddenly, and killing intent started emitting out from her entire body. As expected of a best actress, to even be able to imitate out killing intent, Yi Hua had to give her a thumbs up. The hooligan's mind was a bit absent-minded as he said hurriedly, young lady, calm down. Calm your sister. Qin Yutong erupted, her small fist straightforwardly struck onto the hooligan's abdomen, and the latter fell to the ground like a cooked shrimp. Upon seeing that, the 2 hooligans at the back did not know what to do. It was obviously the boss who went to took liberty of the woman. How did it turn into the boss getting beat up by the woman? This does not make sense. Qin Yutong totally did not have the intention of stopping. After settling the other 2 hooligans, then did she stopped. The crowd who were watching the show couldn't help but gasp. This beautiful woman who looks delicate is actually that ruthless when she fights. The 3 men were totally not her match at all. Looking at her, it seems that did not even use all of her strength. Truly formidable. Yi Hua said, not bad. She became even stronger. Qinya also praised. Qin Yutong really wanted to give each of them a fist. It's easy to talk when you both don't have to do anything. Who is causing trouble here? A 2-meter tall man with a fierce and tough appearance could be seen walking out from the crowd. His arm alone was much more thick and solid compared to Qinya's thigh, and when he stood up straight, he was just like a small mountain. Upon seeing the man, the crowd couldn't help but took a step back. Yi Hua let out a breath and walked out. The 2 sisters both went into a daze for a bit. With those small arms and small legs of yours, there is no need for you to step out. If any part of your body was to be fractured or broken, it would still be us who have to take care of you. However, Yi Hua also thought like that. If Qin Yutong was to suffer a fracture or break her bone, Qinya and I would be responsible for it. When that time comes and she has to stay in hospital or whatever, it would be troublesome. Thus, I must as well just step out and settle it instead. Walking to the front of the man that was just like a small mountain, Yi Hua let out a breath. It has been 5 years since I hit someone. I must control my strength properly this time and try to not kill this man with my punch. Brother. In law, quickly come back. Your arm is not even as thick as the man's leg. Qin Yutong placed both her hands at her mouth and shouted, seemingly as if she was afraid that others didn't know about that. Along with Qin Yutong's shout, everyone all knew that this man was the beautiful woman's brother. In law, so, the other woman should be the wife then. This man's luck with woman is not shallow, however, meeting with such a huge creature, it feels like he is going to be beaten up. Don't try to show off, quickly come back. Qinya couldn't help but shout. Yihua's heart was bleeding, those two ignorant women actually dare to take me that lightly. Young fellow, your wife is calling you to back home and eat. Bang! Yihua placed both his hand into his pocket. What are you two looking at? Let's go back home. The two sisters did not clearly see what happened at all. Before the man was even able to finish speaking, he was concaved into a machine. The hack, what did that man do just now? I don't know, I only saw that man flying into the machine. Qin Yutong was dumbfounded, not expecting that her brother-in-law was also an expert that was concealed among the people. Qin Yutong hurriedly shouted, brother-in-law, wait for me. It was also the first time that Qinya has seen Yihua's martial strength. My God, if he was to hit at my body, I will have to prepare to go to the hospital. Within the second-floor office, the manager that was on duty witnessed the entire process and hurriedly made a phone call. Master, I discovered a strange man, he defeated Deshan with just a punch. There was no gasp of surprise from the phone, instead, a voice could be heard saying indifferently, investigate him then. Yes, Master. Chapter 33, Fiery Sister.in.Law 2 halves. The three of them sat onto the Audi A8 and Qin Yutong chattered continuously and asked various kinds of questions, making Yihua feel very irritated. That punch of mine just now was not bad, I controlled my strength extremely well, and only used 0.01% of my strength to achieve to the effect of awing everyone, and at the same time not resulting in any death. Comfortable. In the future, I will just use this amount of strength. Brother-in-law, how did you do it? Teach me please. Qinya, who was driving the car, said, your brother-in-law likes to act cool, especially in front of a beautiful woman. Yihua took a glare at Qinya, then looked at Qin Yutong and said, not free. Brother-in-law, Qin Yutong let out an extremely coquettish voice. Qinya immediately felt unhappy when she heard Qin Yutong's coquettish voice. You are basically seducing your brother-in-law right now. Speak properly. Qinya reprimanded coldly. Qin Yutong sked, crazy protective wife. Qin Yutong faced towards the window and sulked angrily, the two of them are basically cooperating together to bully me. Looking at the midnight snack stall outside, Qin Yutong said, I want to eat supper. You ate so much just now and you are still able to eat now. Qinya, who was driving the car, was speechless. I want supper, I want supper, I want supper. Qin Yutong actually started behaving shamelessly. This made Yihua to start questioning his own judgment. This is basically just a child that has not grown up and totally not a mature woman. Qinya is much better compared to this Qin Yutong. Facing against Qin Yutong's shameless behavior, Qinya didn't have any way to deal with her and had no choice but to stop the car at the roadside. The three of them sat at the roadside midnight snack stall, and at the front, there was even an old television placed there, and news was currently being played on it. So comfortable, Qin Yutong said comfortably, the breeze of the summer river bank was very comfortable, being blown by the breeze feels just like a person giving you a massage. Yihua remained silent. Compared to look at their beautiful appearance, Yihua was more interested in watching the news report. Brother-in-law, what you staring at me like that for? Big sister will misunderstand. Although it is said that half of a sister-in-law's but belongs to the brother-in-law, but brother-in-law, you are being too open and straightforward, Qin Yutong said shyly, beginning to act again. She even shyly stroked her cheeks. Yihua said indifferently, move a bit to the side, don't block me from watching the news. Pfft. Qinya couldn't help but laugh, and half of Qin Yutong's face turned black. Brother-in-law, this scoundrel. According to the report, a fire happened at a castle that is located in the suburb of London, leading to the collapse of the castle. Luckily, there were no casualties. Qin Yutong sighed endlessly, such a big castle collapsed and no one actually died, this is too mystical. Qinya turned her head around and took a look, most likely that no one stayed in the castle. Only Yi Hua knew why there were no casualties, because those people were all in Wei Chang's stomach. At this moment, at one corner, a youngster that was dressed plainly and simply was seated there, his gazes were gazing firmly at the television, looking at the familiar castle that had turned into ruins. Chapter 34, Deal with you in front of your big sister. 1/2 You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Very quickly, the roasted fish and roasted meat were all served. Yi Hua crossed his arms and looked at the two women in front of him. Yutong, as your brother-in-law, I have the obligation to educate you on how to be a woman. Yi Hua said in a deep voice with a solemn face. Since she is my sister-in-law, I will be magnanimous for a bit and educate her. Qinya rolled her eyes, this fellow is acting up again. Brother-in-law, what are you going to educate me about? Qin Yutong asked curiously, totally oblivious that the content of the education was mind-shattering to a person. Yi Hua felt that his sister-in-law was much easier to educate. Firstly, you have to obey the man's orders, something like removing meat from skewers is one of the things that you have to do. For this point, you will have to learn from your big sister. Qinya indeed removed a skewer of meat and placed it into Yi Hua's bowl, to prevent him from finding a reason to fly into a rage again. Qin Yutong paused for a moment and said earnestly, Brother-in-law, can we speak properly? Come, try it and you will know. Your big sister was also very conflicting about it at first, but right now, she is used to it already. Qin Yutong pulled hardly onto Qinya and said, Big sister, there is a problem with brother-in-law's thinking, he wants to cultivate me into the second madam. Qinya originally thought that Yi Hua was joking around, but after listening to what her little sister, her beautiful eyes immediately emitted out killing intent. What I am doing is just educating her. Yi Hua said displeasedly, what kind of expression is this, to dare suspect me? However, what do I need to explain for? Don't use that weird theory of yours on my little sister and eat your food. Qinya shouted, it is already enough for you to harm me, don't think of trying to harm my sister too. That's right, brother-in-law is truly bad. He has the same thought as that Long Outyen, big sister, you have to be careful. Yi Hua felt that he was stabbed in the back, forget about it if she doesn't feel grateful when I tried to educate her kind-heartedly, but she even framed me too, and even compared me to that Long Outyen, my lungs are going to burst with rage. Looking at brother-in-law's face that was turning red from anger, Qin Yutong removed a skewer of pork chop and fawned upon him, brother-in-law, don't be angry, your sister-in-law was only just joking just now. Seeing that the sister-in-law's attitude when admitting to her mistake was not bad, Yi Hua didn't pursue on about it, you have to properly learn. Yes, I will properly learn. Qin Yutong said helplessly, brother-in-law such is a weirdo. At this time, another news report rang out from the television. According to news, a tsunami appeared this afternoon at the Southeast Asia area and had already caused one person to die, 56 people to go missing, and 300+ people to be injured. This time tsunami appeared very suddenly, and the local weather bureau expresses that they totally had no idea about the tsunami at all. The three of them paused for a moment, not really taking the news to mind. However, all of them did not know that this was the result of Lai Gu's roaring out unintentionally. Yi Hua slowly placed his chopsticks down, arranged the chopsticks up straight, then took a piece of paper napkin and wiped his mouth. These set of movements were linked up adeptly by Yi Hua, making the two sisters that were looking at him to feel extremely puzzled. Eating a simple barbecue and this guy is even able to act that gracefully, and even have to place his chopsticks up straight after he finished his meal, this person must have OCD. If you two had your fill, then let's leave. Yi Hua said lightly. The two sisters were filled, thus, the three of them sat onto the car and went back to the bar. And as for the youngster at the barbecue stand, he still did not left yet. He took out his phone and made a call, but the call wasn't able to go through. Chapter 34, Deal with you in front of your big sister. 2/2 When they returned to the bar, it was already 11 p.m., and yet, the bar was completely empty. Yihua's face immediately sunk, while both Qinya and Qin Yutong felt incredibly great and held onto each other's arm and walked upstairs. Qinya even shouted out complacently, "Yihua, quickly come upstairs, okay, brother. In law, quickly, okay." Qin Yutong suddenly said out of nowhere, and immediately received a knock on the head from Qinya, "To even dare to tease your brother. In law." The workers and security guards of the bar were all stupefied. The boss is really flying up high to the heavens, to actually embrace two beautiful women in his embrace, and the important was that the two beautiful women were twins too. The boss is too formidable. Too formidable. Just that, the price of it seems to be a bit big. If this situation continues, the bar will most likely go bankrupt sooner or later. Yihua also really didn't feel that angry about the business, just that, he felt that, for Qinya to go against him like that, it was not acceptable. I have to get her to be obedient, and also that sister. In law, I have to quickly drive her out from my place. After mixing a glass of wine and drank it, Yihua went upstairs unhurriedly. Just that, the bedroom was actually occupied by the two women. How could Yihua be able to tolerate that? This sister. In law is too outrageous. Brother. In law, there is nowhere for me to sleep at. Seeing that Yihua was about to fly into a rage, Qin Yutong straightforwardly hugged onto her big sister and begged Yihua. "You can go and sleep at the office," Yihua said in a deep voice. Qin Yutong said pitifully, "I don't want to." Yihua looked toward Qinya, seemingly saying that if you don't persuade her, don't blame me for being vicious and merciless. Qinya pouted her mouth and did not say anything. In any case, if Yihua is angry, I am happy, and I reckon that, if I am angry, he would be happy. I will go take a shower first. If you are still on my bed when I come out, you can wait for your big sister to deliver protection over to you. Yihua said coldly, "If you press me too much, I will deal with you in front of your big sister." Showing off his figure off a bit in front of the two women, Yihua walked into the bathroom. "Tsk, who are you trying to scare?" Qin Yutong said in disdain, just that she was actually feeling a bit scared in her heart. Qinya leaned against the bedhead and watched the finance and economics news and said faintly, "If you don't leave, your brother. In law will really dare to do it. I don't believe it. If worst comes to worst, big sister, you can help me go by protection." Qin Yutong's mouth was rather resolute, having a look of as if she was not afraid of anything. Qinya turned her head around and said, "We don't use protection." Qin Yutong felt that she was about to go crazy. "Ah. Ah. Ah. You two sickening perverts, I'm leaving." Qin Yutong, who was flustered and exasperated, immediately left the room and ran to the office to sleep. Those two people are just bad to the core. 5 minutes later, Yihua walked out of the bathroom while wiping his hair, revealing the sexy muscles of his. The muscles were not too much, but the feeling it gave to one was that the muscles were very strong. Exhibitionist. Qinya took a glance and said in disdain, "When did your little sister left?" Qinya sneered, "Didn't you say that it was just a matter of adding one more bed? What's the matter, regretting it now?" Yihua remained silent and squeezed into the blanket. Meanwhile, Qinya moved away from Yihua, seemingly like she despises Yihua. "There is a bed in the office, you can also go there and sleep." Upon seeing this Qinya's action, Yihua felt very unhappy. "I didn't even despise you, and you dare to despise me. I'm not going to go sleep there." Qinya snorted. Yihua could be seen turning over and pressing Qinya under his body, and the latter was shocked to the point that her soul almost left her. "Are you wanting to experience the happiness that you experienced during that night?" Yihua stared at Qinya's beautiful eyes and asked. Thinking back to that night, Qinya's expression started swaying. "What are you doing? Are you going to let me sleep or not? You kept on staying on my bed and not leaving, wasn't it because you wanted to experience it again? Go to hell, why are your thoughts that dirty?" At this moment, the bedroom door was opened, and Qinya looked at the two people that were on the bed with a face full of astonishment. I just left a moment ago and they are already thirsty to the point that they cannot bear it anymore. About that I came to look for a quilt. Qin Yutong said stammering, then immediately closed the door as her heart beats rapidly. Those two sure are passionate. Yihua said in a deep voice, she did that on purpose. Who told you allowed her to come and stay with us? Don't press on to me, don't you know that you are very heavy? Qin Ye said blushingly. Yihua turned over his body and lied down on one side. You better not hug onto me and drip saliva on me tonight, if not, you can prepare to go sleep on the sofa tomorrow. Chapter 35, an acting cool tool that delivers itself to one's doorstep. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Who is willing to hug you, narcissist? Qinya hugged onto the quilt tightly and had her back faced towards Yihua. No matter what, I won't roll over to him tonight. Remember to off your phone. I offed it already. Remember to wake up earlier to buy breakfast. I know. Don't pant when you are sleeping. Yihua. Are you looking to start a fight with me? Don't think that I'm afraid of you. Off the light, sleep. Yihua said calmly and had already lied down and closed his eyes, not intending to reply to Qinya, causing Qinya to be angered to the point that she wanted to choke Yihua to death. After turning off the bedroom light, Qinya let out a breath and stroked her stomach with both of her hands. My baby, in order to give birth to you, your mommy has truly suffered a great deal of suffering. Your daddy doesn't care in the least bit for your mommy. Not even allowing mommy hug him for a bit. Mommy is used to having to hug something when she sleeps. This scoundrel. Within Yangshan City, which was located at the perimeters of Long'an City, a BMW M6 sped on the driveway of a suburb. The person that was driving the car was a young and beautiful woman. Her appearance was extremely beautiful, and her figure was also extremely curvy. This woman was a beautiful woman that was hard to come by. Sitting at her side was the Long Outyen who used ground evading talisman to escape a while back. It must be said that, what happened afterward was a perfect chance encounter. Long Outyen had to give his thanks to those gangsters. If not for them, he wouldn't be able to meet with such a chance encounter. Also, this Gu Tiantian's background is not small too, belonging to Yangshan City's well-known Gu family. Although Gu family is not that strong like Qing family, but Gu family is nonetheless still an outstanding company in the southern part. Her criteria are enough to be a member of Long Outyen's harem. Tian, you should believe me now, right? Long Outyen said complacently. I had just taken a trip to Gu Tiantian's home and casually showed off my skills for a bit. My medical expertise had shocked them to the point that they were all dumbfounded, and that quack was also kicked out of Gu family. Seems like I am still very strong. The situation at Qing family today was just an accident only. Furthermore, the expression of Gu Tiantian's parents when they looked at me was just like they were looking at their future son. Law, this feels so great. A man who is capable will get discovered no matter where he goes. It can only be blamed on Long Outyen, being just too outstanding. Don't see that Gu Tian is having an aloof expression, but in actual fact, her heart had already fallen for me. She is only just maintaining a woman's reserve for now, and in just a few days, I will be able to take her down and make her a member of my harem. Tian, what do you think of me? I am quite decent, right? Long Outyen smiled lightly, looking very gentleman-like, but in actual fact, he had a bunch of bad thoughts in his mind. Gu Tian snorted, don't think that just because you cured my father, I will let bygones be bygones. I also didn't mean to do it, it was just an accident. How about I let you take a look at my body and we will both be equals? Shameless, Gu Tian scolded bashfully. Take a look, and she still says that she has not fallen for me. Her face has already gotten red. Sigh, women. They are always saying things that don't truly mean. Qinya, you will definitely regret it. You are not the only woman in this world, there is a bunch of women lining up waiting for me. Long Outyen. Tian, uncle told us to properly interact with each other just now. You see, since I don't have a place to go to, and your house is that big, how about you bestow me a room? Gu Tian feigned anger coquettishly, Long Outyan. Can you not be that shameless? Because of you, my dad thought that I have something going on with you. We both indeed have something going on. I have seen your body. If placed in ancient times, I would have to marry you. Ah. 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 I'm going to fight you to the death, ha ha ha. Long Outyan felt incredibly great. That's right, this is the tempo. If this continues, perhaps I will even be able to settle her tonight. Tsk, it is always like this for an excellent man. Chasing after girls are but a matter of me gesturing at them with my finger. However, right when Long Outyan was being immeasurably pleased with himself, his entire body suddenly leaned forward, and the sound of the tires rubbing against the floor rang out in his ears. Luckily he had his seatbelt on, if not, his entire body would have flew out. Rubbing his head, Long Outyan asked, Tian, why did you stop the car so suddenly? I know that you dislike me, but isn't this too exaggerating already? Gu Tiantian's eyes revealed panic as she pointed towards the front of the car and wasn't able to speak. Long Outyan looked towards the direction that she was pointing at. A person could be seen standing in front of the car. The person's entire body was completely covered up by black cloth, and there was a dagger at the person's waist, evidently someone that has no good intentions. Tian, is that your enemy coming to look for you? Long Outyan asked curiously, totally not taking the matter to mind. Gu Tian shook her head, where do I even have any enemy? I also didn't provoke anyone or cause any trouble. Perhaps it is your family's enemy then. However, this doesn't matter at all. What can I do about the fact that I am a good guy? Not only did I help cure your father's sickness, I even have to help your family chase their enemy away. Tian, how are you going to repay me? How about you give your heart to me? Long Outyan laughed, appearing very relaxed. Upon seeing how calm Long Outyan was, Gu Tian also let out a breath of relief, and didn't felt that scared anymore. Can you be a bit more serious? Gu Tian feigned anger coquettishly. This man is indeed very mystical, but he is too flirtatious already and doesn't feel reliable. Long Outyan fiddled with his hairstyle for a bit. The me right now is definitely serious. Watch how I help you chase your family's enemy away. You be careful a bit. Gu Tian warned. Having the concern of a beautiful woman, no matter how hard the matter is, Long Outyan would still accomplish the matter no matter what, all just for getting you to smile. Stupid, what time is it already and you are still speaking? Gu Tian was drunk already, however, her heart was feeling quite warm. Death Assassin stared at the man within the car. I finally found the target. Master said that this man is a bit formidable, but why am I not able to sense that at all? And right now, this man is still in the car flirting with the woman. Bang! Death Assassin smashed his fist onto the car hood, then gestured with his finger towards Long Outyan. The huge sound gave Gu Tian a shock. Looking at the concaved car hood, her body couldn't help but trembled as she said trembling, this person is looking for you, you quickly get off the car. Long Outyan was immediately dazed. The person that this person came for is actually me. The power of that fist is not bad, however, that fist is but nothing to me. Just like that quack, this person is just here for me to act cool, then afterward, I will be able to conquer the beautiful woman. This feels great. A golden opportunity bestowed by heaven. Tian, don't be afraid, stay carefully in the car, I will settle everything. Long Outyan kept his smile and said solemnly. This steadiness of the tone made Gu Tiantian believed in him. Right now, I will rely everything on Long Outyan. Opening the door, Long Outyan took out a stick of cigarette. Although this move was learned from someone else, but this move feels very good, it seems to be raising my coolness level. Gu Tian who is within the car, she must definitely be looking at me with sparkling eyes and worshipping me right now. Who are you? Long Outyan let out a puff of smoke and asked arrogantly. Death Assassin was only able to think but not able to speak, and thus stood and remained silent. Fuck, a mute. Forget it. Dealing with you is not a hard thing at all, but it is better to not let a lady witness a bloody scene. let us move a bit further from here. Long Outyan flicked the cigarette butt. This movement is of mine is truly handsome. Death Assassin silently followed after Long Outyan, appearing a bit endearingly silly. Long Outyan also had this kind of feeling, could this guy be a fool? Arriving at a place that was not too far from the car, Long Outyan took a look at the car, after feeling that at this distance, Gu Tian would still be able to see him, then did he felt at ease. I cannot let her see the ruthless scene that will unfold soon, but I have to show her how strong I am. This distance is just nice, even if I beat the guy and blood spattered around, she also wouldn't be able to clearly see it. Chapter 36, I, Long Outyan, am just temporarily retreating. Only January 2nd. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Hey, you should be a hit. Man, right, say, instead of doing a sneak attack, you openly stood at the middle of the road like that, are you stupid? Death Assassin was starting to feel a bit impatient. It is the first time that I met with an enemy that has so many words to say. From the beginning where I saw him, all the way up till now, his mouth had never once stopped. Who sent you here? Forget it, in any case, you also wouldn't say it. Wait later on after I beat you to the point that you kneel down, you will naturally tell me everything. Today, I will let you experience and witness the power of I, Long Outyan's Dragon God technique. There is no harm in telling you, but, when I hit out this fist of mine, even I myself am afraid of it. Do you believe that, in front of my fist, even steel-reinforced bar would break into little pieces? Long Outyan could be seen shouting out loudly, and his aura started increasing as he took a horse stance and clenched both of his fists firmly. The muscles on both his arms gradually increased, and the ground that was under his feet was starting to rupture. Gu Tian, who was in the car, felt happy upon seeing that. Looking at Long Outyan's aura, he is definitely able to defeat that black-clothed person. Death Assassin looked at the small fry in front of him and slightly went into a daze. This aura is a bit interesting. He is indeed much stronger than an ordinary person, but he is only much stronger than an ordinary person. In front of me, he is still a small fry in the end. Dragon God Technique's first style. Dragon God Fist. Long Outyan's right fist could be seen emitting out a faint golden light, and within the surrounding 1 meter of Long Outyan, a violent gust actually appeared, causing Gu Tian, who was watching the scene, to become dumbfounded. Long Outyan sneered within his heart, this foolish hit. Man is actually scared silly by me, he is not even preparing to dodge my fist at all. Alright then, watch as I burst your body open with my fist. Long Outyan's right leg suddenly stepped forward, and a few cracks actually appeared on the ground. Then, he shot out his fist towards Death Assassin with an imposing aura. Death Assassin was very disappointed. I don't even want to move anymore. If I move even the slightest bit at all, that would be a disgrace for me. The fist went through Death Assassin's body, and Long Outyan said in disdain, you are nothing much, and I even thought that you would be a bit powerful. GGG. This strange laughter sound made Long Outyan to swallow his saliva unconsciously. Feeling his arm for a bit, he felt that his fist seemed to have landed on the air, but this isn't right, my fist obviously went through his abdomen. Fall. Why aren't you falling? Shouldn't you be falling now? I'm begging you, can you quickly fall, there is a woman watching me right now. Death Assassin did not have a corporeal body, he only had a body of skeleton, and Long Outyan's fist only went through Death Assassin's clothes, and did not even touch till Death Assassin's bone, being unlucky to the utmost. Death Assassin could be seen raising his hand, giving Long Outyan a shock. Is he going to surrender now? But it is too late now, and what's more, you have to raise both of your hands when you are surrendering. Bang! Long Outyan felt that his face was twisting, his body was floating within the air, and his consciousness was a bit fuzzy. Death Assassin used his palm and slapped Long Outyan away. After rolling a few times on the lawn, then did Long Outyan came to a stop. Long Outyan crawled up from the ground with great difficulty and, with fear leaking out from his gaze, he looked at the Death Assassin who was approaching towards him step by step. Just who is this person? Although my Dragon God Fist was currently only cultivated to the first realm, it is still able to at least destroy rocks and break bones, but when my dragon god fist landed on his body, it actually did nothing to him, and instead, I was sent flying from a slap of his. Could it be that this person is actually a S.grade expert? But, why is he trying to kill a small character like me? I haven't even fully grown my potential. That's right. He must be afraid of me becoming stronger, thus he made the first move to prevent me from even having the chance to get stronger. This person is so malevolent. Pfft. A mouth of blood was spat out. Long Outyan felt that his chi and blood were surging, and thus felt even more afraid of the black-clothed person. In front of this person, I am just like a child. Pew. Long Outyan did not even know what happened, and an acute pain suddenly transmitted over to him from his arm. Blood was gushing out ferociously. Lowering his head to take a look, he saw that his arm's bone could be seen. Fear spread within Long Outyan's heart. I am totally not his match at all, I can't even catch on to his movement at all, let alone strike back. Gu Tian sat in the car and watched nervously. She could only see two figures being next to each other, and was not sure about just what was happening. Long Outyan had attained his goal of not letting Gu Tian look at the scene where blood would splatter everywhere. Just that, his goal of wanting to show off to Gu Tian had failed. Everything changed, just like what happened at Qing family, it was happening again right now. I have no choice. I still have one more ground evading talisman, if I don't use it now, I will really die. Ground evading talisman. Death Assassin slashed out his blade, just that, this slash of his hit nothing. Looking at the place that he was slashing at, where is the person? Could it be that he has the ability to teleport? I was truly a bit careless this time. And I even wanted to torture him to death. However, looking at the situation, it is better that I report about this first. Gu Tian rubbed her eyes. There was still two black figures there just now. Why did the two black figures suddenly disappeared? Mustering up her courage, she got off the car and shouted lightly, Long Outyan. Long Outyan. Coming to the place where the two people disappeared at, Gu Tian took a look around and was filled with confusion, and could only leave with disappointment. This Long Outyan actually ran away. Luckily the hit man's target wasn't me. This Long Outyan is truly not a man. Long Outyan was shouting out for grievance, I am only temporarily retreating because of my injuries. At a remote mountain village, Long Outyan opened his eyes and high-spirited noises ranged out at his ears. Exerting all his strength, he opened his eyes and took a look, and immediately, he had the urge of wanting to faint. Why is it not a bathroom? Why is it a pigsty? My God! Why am I that unlucky? Who are you? A pretty young lady could be seen standing outside the pigsty and asking curiously. Long Outyan smiled miserably. Who would have thought that Long Outyan's luck with the ladies is still the same as usual, continuously having encounters with beautiful ladies. The tempo is still within my hand. Wait, after I properly cultivated my dragon god technique, I will go back and get my revenge. During this period of time, I will stay here and properly nurture my relationship with this young lady. First, let me faint for a bit and let this young lady take care of me. Chapter 36, Long Outyan, am just temporarily retreating. Only February 2nd. You are listening at novelfull.audio. At the first of daybreak, Yi Hua slowly opened his eyes, and his brows immediately frowned as he felt the moist feeling that was coming from his chest. Lowering his head to take a look, this woman is actually tangling around me like an octopus. This is simply outrageous. She isn't well behaved even when she is sleeping. And also, this puddle of saliva on my chest, she is wanting my life. Wake up. Don't cause a nuisance. Today is Sunday, let me sleep for a bit more. Qinya's tone was sort of coquettish. It was particularly pleasant to listen to. At the least, it was better than listening to her speaking with a cold tone. Yi Hua didn't care about that. Look at what you had done. Qinya frowned her eyes while feeling annoyed, and opened her beautiful eyes to take a look. Discovering that she was hugging onto him again, and even left a puddle of saliva on his chest, she felt that it was too shameful and braced herself and said, "What about it? What is wrong with hugging my husband to sleep?" Yihua had never seen before a woman that was able to speak nonsense with such a serious look, leaving a puddle of saliva on my chest, and you are still able to be that bold and confident. It is already 7 a.m., quickly get up and go buy breakfast. Yihua's tone loosened a bit. I am not going to lower myself to her level. Qinya totally did not have the intention to get up. I am a pregnant woman, you have to take care of me. That wasn't what you said yesterday. Women are fickle, you should properly experience it for a bit. Qinya hugged onto the quilt and rolled up to one side, angering Yihua to the point that his lips were trembling. Why did I hook up with a woman like this? Getting up and washing up, after finishing, he took a look at the bed. She is still lying on the bed. It won't do if I don't educate her. Ah! What are you doing? Quickly let go off me. Qinya cried out in alarm as she was carried up by Yihua. Chapter 37, Subordinate used his brain. 1 of 2. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Placing Qinya at the washroom, Yihua said coldly, "Brush your teeth, wash your face, then go and buy breakfast." The latter's beautiful eyes were at the point of erupting fire. "Yihua, I am going to fight you to the death." 10 minutes later, Yihua brought along Qinya, who had a miserable face, and walked out of the room. Porridge with extra sugar. Qinya snorted, then walked towards the office, seemingly wanting to drag someone along with her. As expected, Qin Yutong's yelling and helpless grumbles rang out from the office. "Big sister, my fame still has not died down yet, and you actually want me to accompany you to buy breakfast? Do you want me to get surrounded by my fans?" Qin Yutong walked out of the office while yawning. Her eyes were still not fully opened, appearing very cute. "If you don't want to go, you can go stay at a hotel. Are you even my kin? Sister?" "No, I admit defeat. Fine, I will go." Looking at those two women leave the house, Yihua was finally able to have a peace of mind for a while. In the past, it was always quiet during the morning, but ever since this woman came into my life, everything has changed. My life can no longer become peaceful anymore. While smoking, Yihua sat at the bar counter and waited for his breakfast. Actually, having a woman is not bad too. At the least, I don't have to personally handle most of the small matters anymore. Qinya is just lacking discipline only, and do not have the basics of being a wife. A black whirlpool could be seen appearing in the air, and within the black whirlpool, Wei Chang walked out from it and spoke in a respectful manner. "Your Honor, Long Outyen has ran away." Yihua paused for a moment, then said in a deep voice, "Long Outyen is able to escape from you." "That is not the case. This Long Outyen seems to possess the ability of teleportation, and thus was able to escape." Wei Chang explained. "He heard all of those from Death Mage, and Death Mage heard all of those from Death Assassin." Yihua remained silent as he tapped on the bar counter with his index finger rhythmically while looking at Wei Chang. After a while, he said, "How do you think this matter should be handled?" Wei Chang's heart sunk. This is his honor's test to me. If my answer is not able to make his honor satisfied, I will definitely be reprimanded severely. Wei Chang's mind began to revolve around rapidly. His honor's emphasis is towards humanity and definitely not towards killing people. Adding on with the previous matter at the castle, I more or less have the answer already. His honor, this person's capability is counted as small, but speaking from this world's perspective, he is the first person that we have met that possesses an ability, even though it is small. Thus, I feel that we should monitor him and see if he has any companion or not, and also find out where he got his ability from. Wei Chang's performance made Yihua to have a whole new look towards Wei Chang. In the past, this fellow was basically one-track-minded. Whatever thing that I asked him to do, he would always be able to do it very nimbly, but some people who were obviously able to be used, he would also always nimbly eat them up too. Right now, he finally knows how to use his brain. Not bad. I am very happy that you are able to have this kind of thinking. It is your subordinate's utmost honor to be able to make your honor happy. Not sure just when did Wei Chang also learn how to bootlick. It was reckoned that it was because of the serialized dramas that Wei Chang watched. I will leave this long outyin to you to handle, I hope that you will be able to give me a satisfying answer. I will not let down on your honor's expectation. Wei Cheng shouted with a deep voice, then stood up and walked into the black whirlpool, disappearing from Yi Hua's sight. A slight arc appeared at the corner of Yi Hua's mouth. If even Wei Cheng could be taught well by me, I don't believe that I wouldn't be able to handle a single woman. Chapter 37, Subordinate used his brain. 2 of 2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Looking at the clock that was on the wall, it has been half an hour and the two women have still not yet returned. Yi Hua took out a cigarette as he squinted his eyes and looked at the direction towards the door. 8 m.9 m.10 m.11 m.12 m. Cigarette butts were filled on the floor that was below the bar counter, and on the bar counter, there were countless empty wine bottles. Right now, Yi Hua's face was gloomy and seemingly on the verge of erupting. This woman is truly too arrogant. Does she not know that I am still waiting for breakfast? It is already time to eat lunch now. Outside of the bar, Qinya and Qin Yutong got off the car, and carried a bunch of small and big bags. After eating breakfast, both of them passed by a shopping mall, and by accident, they shopped. Right now, the porridge was already cold, and the few crispy yudios also became soft. Big sister, just by standing outside, I am able to feel brother.in.law's grievance floating out from the bar. Qin Yutong, who was wearing a peaked cap and sunglasses, said in a low voice. To speak the truth, she was a bit afraid right now. Qinya snorted, feeling unsure. That fool isn't really actually still waiting for the breakfast, right? However, with my understanding of him, he is definitely still waiting for the breakfast, and furthermore, the moment I walk in, I will be able to see him flying into a rage. Forget about it, it is counted as my fault this time. At the most, later on when he is scolding, I will not retort, count it as letting him win this round. Qin Yutong pulled onto her big sister. I think we better run and let brother.in.law cool down first. That is not called cool down, that is called adding oil on fire. Right now, Qinya was able to more or less grasp Yi Hua's temper. The more you rebel against him, the angrier Yi Hua would become, but as long as you follow against his thoughts, everything would be fine. What do we do then? You still have the cheek to speak. If not for you wanting to go buy some undergarments, leading to us shopping through the entire shopping mall, this matter wouldn't exist. Qinya felt that her little sister did it on purpose. Qin Yutong said in grievance, Big sister, the steering wheel was in your hands, and I was also not able to control it. Furthermore, didn't you also buy a bunch of things? You. Alright, I will help plead for forgiveness to brother.in.law later on and strive for him to deal with you more leniently. Alright, you this Qin Yutong, selling me away just like this. He, even when sitting inside the bar, Yi Hua was able to hear their voice, and his anger became bigger and bigger. When he saw them walked into the bar while carrying a bunch of small and big bags, he almost went berserk. They actually went shopping and completely forgot about me. When the two sisters walked into the bar, they were still quarreling with one another, but when they saw the gloomy Yi Hua who was sitting at the bar counter, their hearts sunk and didn't dare to even gasp. Adding on with the bar's dusky atmosphere, it was almost enough to scare them to death. Where did you two went? Yi Hua asked coldly. One of them is my wife, and the other is my sister.in.law, there is no way I can really kill them, the humanity in my heart is rejecting it. But because it was like that, it made Yi Hua felt even angrier. How many years has it been? Other than the two of them, no one would dare to make me wait for so long. Qinya and Qin Yutong took a look at each other and thought to themselves, we sister must definitely work as one, only then would we be able to get through this crisis. Brother.in.law, the matter is like this. In order to let brother.in.law be able to eat the best youtiao and porridge, big sister specially drove all the way to Qingdong. Qin Yutong did not mess around anymore, she felt that her brother.in.law was really angry. Yi Hua's cold gaze shifted to Qinya, and the latter was startled and lowered her head and groaned. In actuality, going to whatever Qingdong was basically nonsense, but, what to do, she was in the wrong and wasn't in the position to retort. Seeing Qinya admit it, Yi Hua's heart felt a little bit better. However, when he saw those big and small bags, he immediately felt angry again. Even if you went to Qingdong, it only takes 40 minutes to come back and forth. The both of you went out at 7:30 a.m., look at what time it is now, it is already 12:30 p.m. Don't say that there was a traffic jam. Longan City is not like a first-tier city. Brother.in.law, we. Qin Yutong didn't even finish speaking and Yi Hua cut her off. Let your big sister speak. Oh, Qin Yutong pouted her mouth, big sister, all the best to you. Qinya wished she could bite this fellow to death. What's the matter? It's not like I went to find a gigolo. What are you being that angry for? Chapter 38, Educating Wife 1/2. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Yutong did not bring any extra undergarments, thus we went to shop at the shopping center. Qinya changed her usual strong-willed tone and explained softly. This made Yi Hua felt very comfortable. Qin Yutong, who was at the side, went to in a daze. My sister actually sold me out in an instant. Back then, after I had bought what I needed to buy, it was obviously you who wanted to stay at the shopping center and continue shopping, evidently wanting to anger brother.in.law by doing that. Afterwards. Although my anger has disappeared, I still must properly reprimand her. Qinya's face was a bit blushing as she mumbled, afterwards, Yutong wanted to buy a few pajamas. Qin Yutong's face immediately became ugly. This big sister of mine is clearly framing me. This won't do, I definitely have to expose big sister's true face. However, big sister is actually secretly pulling onto my clothing. This made Qin Yutong felt a bit shocked. She never expected that her big sister would actually value brother.in.law's feeling by this much. However, I am being unjustly framed. Yutong? Yi Hua asked with a deep voice. Qin Yutong swore that she would definitely not go shopping with her big sister anymore. Brother.in.law, it is all Yutong's fault, don't blame big sister anymore. Bang! Yi Hua slammed hardly onto the bar counter, which made the two sisters felt scared and fidget. Why did you not pick up the phone? Qinya, don't you know that you are pregnant? Being unable to be contacted for a few hours, do you not know just how worried I was? Qin Yutong, you also don't have to shoulder the blame for your big sister. Did she think that I do not know what little thoughts she has in her mind? After venting out his anger, Yi Hua let out a breath. In the end, whether if I was worried about the child, or if I was worried about Qinya, I am not very clear about it, but what can be confirmed is that I actually felt one of the emotions that humans experience, worry. Yi Hua did not know if it was a good thing or not, because he had never felt this kind of emotion before in his life. Qin Yutong really wants to praise her brother.in.law's wisdom, to be able to see through her big sister's trick within such a short time. And as for Qinya, she was very surprised. This fellow actually said that he was worried about me. Is that true or fake? However, looking at his expression, it seems to be true. Qinya felt elated in her heart and suddenly felt that Yi Hua was quite adorable, especially that angry expression of Yi Hua's, which was just like that of a kid's. Both of us did not bring along our phone with us because we did not expect that it would take this long. Qinya explained. Do you two not know how to lend or buy one then? To not even have this bit of common sense, where did you two's brain go to? The sisters lowered their head and remained silent. If we had known this would happen, we would have come back and pass you the breakfast first, then go shopping afterward. Like that, you would definitely have nothing to say. Brother.in.law, big sister bought something for you. Qin Yutong suddenly thought of something and said hurriedly. Yi Hua went into a daze and looked towards Qinya. Qinya walked forward and passed a small bag over to Yi Hua, then took a few steps backward and stood together with her sister. Her action was truly too comical. This was probably how a primary school student who had made a mistake would act. Taking out the items that were within the small bag, Yi Hua saw that it was two men's underpants. At this moment, Yi Hua felt that his heart was feeling a bit unusual, the frequency that his heart was beating at was a little fast, and also felt very hot. I am not at the state of going berserk right. Without looking back, Yi Hua went upstairs to check on what was going on with his body. Both sisters let out a breath of relief at the same time. We managed to pass the ordeal. Big sister, you owe me one. Alright, I owe you one. Qinya said helplessly. This morning, not only did I get lectured by Yi Hua, I even tried to make my sister to carry the blame. If it was not for the two men's underpants that I prepared, I reckon that this matter wouldn't have been over this quickly. However, big sister, brother.in.law seems to care a lot for you Qin Yutong threw the big and small bags on the floor and sat on the high chair. Qinya snorted, he would care about me. He is only caring about the child in my stomach. Big sister, you cannot say it like that. There are many cases of people getting together in the end because of the child. I even acted for a drama with this kind of plot, it was very popular back then too. What's more, the way you acted today, and the way brother.in.law acted today, TSK. Could it be that you two have really fallen for each other? Go and die. Qinya stiffed her face and said. Her heart was beating a little fast. After looking at the cold youtiao porridge, Qinya walked upstairs. Qin Yutong pouted, still don't want to admit it.